Welcome to this episode of Time Travel with Travis. I'm Travis Childs, the Director of Education at the History Museum, and also I am your St. Joseph County historian. Welcome to Veterans Day. On this special Veterans Day, I thought that we'd visit a couple different honored dead that we have buried here in our county. The first veteran we're going to talk about is buried a few rows above me, interred here at Chapel Hill Cemetery. It's Alex Arch. Mr. Arch was actually born in Hungary on March 19th, 1894, and he came to South Bend with his family in 1903. He enlisted in the Army in 1913 and fought with Black Jack Pershing in his chase for Pancho Villa in Mexico. While in the armed services, he was promoted to sergeant, so he was always known as Sergeant Alex Arch. When World War I broke out, Alex was put on a ship and he sailed for France in July of 1917. At early dawn on October 23rd, 1917, Alex pulled the lanyard of the artillery gun that sent the first American shell over German lines in World War I. The cannon that he fired was taken out of service immediately, sent back to America, and it currently resides in the Armament Museum in the basement of West Point. Alex, because of that, was a local and state and national hero for that, and he was always known for that. He was also one of the representatives from the states to actually witness the burial of remains of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. Alex married Julia Rebix, and they had a son and two daughters. Alex, through all of his time, he was just a regular guy. He never really thought that he was all that special. He was just at the right place at the right time. During World War II, when World War II broke out, he kind of came out of retirement a little bit. He actually went to Indianapolis and with the actress Carole Lombard raised money for war bonds to finance World War II effort for that. But he was a local guy who did his best. And while enlisted in the armed services, just happened to be the very first American to send the very first shell from the very first gun across to the German lines. So that is something that we should all be proud of, that we have here right in the county. And that is Alex Arch's story. We are now standing at the final resting place for Charles Kuhl. When he was 18 years old, he participated in the invasion of Sicily in August of 1943. When the battle was over there in Sicily, he was admitted to the field hospital for something originally called psychoneurosis, or shell shock, what we would know it as. On August 3rd, 1943, General George S. Patton, commander of the 7th Army, visited this field hospital where Kuhl was a patient. As General Patton went bed to bed visiting with soldiers, he eventually came to Private Kuhl's bed and inquired about his injuries. Kuhn told Patton it was his nerves and that he couldn't bear the shells blasting around him anymore. Patton was enraged and slapped Charles Kuhl across the face with one of his leather gloves. He also forced him out of the tent at the field hospital to tell them to put him back on the front line. What Patton didn't know was Charles just hid behind a bush. When Patton left the field hospital, Kuhl came back and checked in with the doctors again. It found out he had 104 temperature from malaria that he had contracted, and that's why he couldn't even hardly stand up. Charles hid, and when he came back in, of course, that's when they found out. However, Patton wasn't done yet. About a month later, General Patton slapped another soldier in another field hospital, and a week later, those incidents made it back to Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was Supreme Allied Commander. He made Patton apologize personally to both men individually and both of their regiments in person. That November of 1943, an American radio broadcaster here in the U.S. broadcast to audience what Patton had done, and many members of the Congress called for the Patton's removal from command. General Patton was then eventually relieved of command of the 7th Army, but during the Battle of the Bulge, he was given command of the 3rd Army and fought brilliantly in that command and saved a lot of soldiers' lives. Private Cool returned to Mishawaka. He tried to live a normal life without constantly being reminded that he was the man that Patton slapped. He kind of laid low. He didn't talk much about it. Continued on with his life. He got married. He eventually died January 31st, 1971. And those are just 2 resting places of the wartime dead that are buried in cemeteries all over St. Joseph County. So this Veterans Day, if you're an active veteran or a retired veteran, or you're in active duty, I salute you. You have a great Veterans Day, and we'll see all of you back here again on the next Time Travel with Travis.